I used to go with my friend Kim to Diddy's parties. Kim was my best friend. We both attended the freak-offs. There were also parties on Epstein's island, and going there used to be a lot of fun.
She was best known as being Paris Hilton's sidekick, but in reality, I think that girl was on a mission.
She got a taste of that drug. She wanted that power. You know that you can make $1 million in one day. What does it look like?
Fergie, Diddy, Christina Milian, Ja Rule, of course, Lindsay Lohan. Photos that Paris took of Cameron Diaz and Jared Leto, JC Chasez, Nick Cannon, Michael Jackson, Paris making out with Jack Osbourne, Paris hanging out with Gwen Stefani.
I should have had baby with Paris Hilton over Kim Kardashian. You know, Kim was Paris Hilton's assistant.
Something just shattered the narrative. And now, Paris Hilton is rewriting the ending. If she's falling with the Jeffrey Epstein files, she's not falling alone. She's pulling identities into the light. First target, Kim Kardashian. Once inseparable, their golden era now feels like the first frame of a forbidden film. Paris claims it was never just cameras and smiles. She alleges they both stepped onto Epstein's island, sometimes welcomed, sometimes used, and it escalates. She says Kim leaned in, turning those nights into leverage for fame. Was it strategy, survival, or something far more dangerous? Now, the internet fractures. Is this Paris finally unloading buried truth? Or is there a sharper agenda driving the timing? Who holds the truth, Kim or Paris? And why? Now, the fallout could dismantle everything we believed about them both. Stay watching, because what comes next might change the entire story forever.
I've known Paris Hilton from the time she's 12. She's hot. Her parents are friends of mine, and you know, the first time I saw her, she walked into the room and said, "Who the hell is that?"
Emotionally, physically. It's me.
Ghislaine said, "Oh my God, who's that?" And my friend said, "Yeah, she's called Paris Hilton." And Ghislaine said, "Oh, God, she'd be perfect for Jeffrey. Could you introduce?"
Incredibly rich, incredibly famous, but the sex tape is rearing its head again. Yes, and it has now caused more legal strife between herself and her state partner, Rick.
Everything changed the second the latest wave of Epstein-linked files hit the surface. These weren't harmless details. They carried volatile names in conversation, flight logs resurfacing, and timelines users began weaving into digital theory maps. And the instant Paris Hilton's name ignited alongside the noise, everything spiraled fast. For years, whispers online circled her family's closeness to influence and power. The Hiltons lived inside elite spaces. That part was never hidden, but the moment Paris surged again, social feeds lit up. People started linking patterns they believed they recognized and jumping to conclusions in real time. Instead of issuing a clean denial, Paris pivoted. She redirected attention straight toward Kim Kardashian, and that was the spark that set everything off. Commentators began dissecting their origins. Two women raised in privilege, surrounded by power, moving through the very circles now under scrutiny. And the questions? They're only getting louder.
Kim Kardashian allegedly had some videotapes and audio tapes that was actually recovered in the raid at PD.
It didn't help that both of them had been photographed alongside powerful figures who are now under serious scrutiny. Online investigators started digging deeper. Some even claimed there could be archived party footage tied to Paris Hilton, allegedly sitting somewhere inside sealed evidence. 4 minutes. That's all it took for the pressure to explode. Victims and advocates began demanding full transparency, calling for every name, every record, every hidden detail to be exposed. But then, something shifted. The narrative turned. And almost overnight, Paris became the center of the storm, at least in the court of public opinion. Insiders say that's what pushed her to the breaking point. Because from her perspective, she wasn't alone in those rooms. Kim Kardashian was there too. Kim benefited too. Kim moved through the same circles. And yet, she walks away untouched, posting calmly, smiling on Instagram, while Paris gets torn apart. That imbalance? It hit a limit. People close to Paris claim she's been sitting on receipts for years, watching the rumors stack up on her shoulders alone, while Kim ascends into billionaire territory. And the history between them only fuels it. Fans have long believed Kim climbed through Paris, that that the friendship itself was a gateway into elite access. Meanwhile, Paris has openly spoken about being exposed to adult environments far too early. In Surviving Jeffrey Epstein, sources described how she was allegedly targeted by powerful figures at just 19, pulling back the curtain on the darker side of elite nightlife. So when Paris watches Kim present herself as untouched, unbothered, unconnected, she's done staying quiet. Because in her mind, if she's being questioned by the world, then Kim should be too.
Is it working?
Now it's working, yeah.
Hey Gunther, what's up? It's Paris. I miss you, and I'm at my party right now in Malibu, and all my friends are drinking the rich Prosecco. Everyone loves the Royale the best. I love the passion fruit, but all my friends really love.
She has publicly insisted she never knew Ghislaine Maxwell at all. But the internet doesn't forget. The second those words landed, old party photos resurfaced, showing them laughing together in the same VIP corners. And just like that, the outrage ignited. But here's where even critics hesitate. Supporters argue Paris Hilton was deeply vulnerable in those years. Anyone who followed her rise remembers the chaos, the non-stop partying, the substance issues, the trauma she now speaks about openly. Many believe she wasn't the one in control. She was young, surrounded by older, powerful figures with questionable intentions. And by the time she understood the world she had stepped into, it may have already closed around her. That's when the comparisons to Kim Kardashian start heating up. Because while Paris was being pulled deeper into that machine, Kim wasn't a headline name yet. She was the assistant, the stylist, the one carrying the bags. And still, people noticed something. Even back then, her ambition was impossible to miss. Always just behind Paris, leaning into the frame, appearing over her shoulder in photos, easing into conversations like she belonged there, making sure the camera never lost her. Some say Kim wasn't just present, she was observing, studying every move, every connection, every opportunity. And when those doors opened into circles filled with wealth, power, and dangerous privilege, she allegedly made sure she stayed inside them. To the public, it all looked harmless, just two wealthy girls living fast and having fun. But now, people are asking something much darker. Was Paris being used as a piece on someone else's board, while Kim was quietly learning how to play the game? And that question is what cuts the deepest for Paris.
What's going on with it? That is if I ever go to India outfit.
I said I had babies with Paris Hilton over Kim Kardashian.
There was a story that came out, a video that was shown saying back in the days when Kim K was Paris Hilton's assistant.
Yeah.
Was it true? Was Kim K Paris's assistant?
Yeah, she used to sleep in my guest room. Yeah. And then some weird shit happened. I'm not gonna say what happened, but and then she made it to the master bedroom.
The belief that while she was barely surviving, Kim was strategizing a path to the spotlight. And now that Paris feels like she's being targeted, alone, her patience has snapped. If she's going to be dragged back into this mess, she's not going alone.
Very often there'd be this beautiful dark-haired girl in the background trying to get in the shot.
Was that Kim Kardashian? Yeah, she was Paris's friend, her stylist, and her assistant, and they were often seen together.
Anytime, there was cameras needed, Paris would basically tell Kim Kardashian to text him.
In reality, I think
online, people can't stop drawing the comparison. They point out how Kim Kardashian appeared to mirror Paris Hilton's rise, but with an entirely different level of precision. Paris has openly described being pressured and manipulated during some of the most humiliating moments of her early fame. Moments clouded by trauma and substances she never chose for herself. Many believe she never truly had control, but Kim? The internet tells a very different story. Calculated, intentional, always thinking 3 steps ahead. For years, speculation has followed her and Kris Jenner, claims that they didn't just react to controversy, they engineered it. And at the center of that narrative, the tape. Ray J himself has alleged they were involved from the very beginning, that nothing about it was accidental. Contracts, approvals, decisions made behind closed doors. Not chaos, but strategy. Not scandal, but business.
Kanye flew home last night, and he came back this morning. I want to show you guys what he got me. He got me all of his take back.
Oh, Kim.
Oh my God.
That's amazing.
And in the version of events fans keep repeating, Kris Jenner didn't react like a panicked parent. They say she moved like a director, guiding the narrative instead of running from it. So the second whispers began tying Kim Kardashian to the Epstein discourse, everything shifted. Fast. the woman known for silence, suddenly she was moving through legal channels. According to online commentators, the strategy was simple: control the narrative before it controls you. And the first name back in focus? Ray J, the one person she can't remove from the origin story. When an old viral clip resurfaced, Ray J claiming Kim and Kris were tied to a federal investigation, the response was immediate. Legal pressure, pushback, no hesitation. To fans, it looked like panic. To critics, it looked like precision. But to Paris Hilton, it looked like something else entirely. Hypocrisy. Imagine watching someone who stood beside you in those same rooms, someone who moved through the same risks, the same introductions, the same elite circles, now living untouched, untarnished, while your name gets dragged again. That's the breaking point. That's when Paris decided she was done. Because if there's one thing she refuses to do now, it's fall alone.
This federal RICO though, on KK and Kris, ooh. The federal RICO I'm about to drop on Kris.
Whispers didn't just grow, they detonated into a full-blown feeding frenzy. Conspiracy boards lit up, drawing lines from Epstein's orbit to other headline names. And suddenly, Kim Kardashian and Kris Jenner were sitting dead center in the internet's crosshairs. According to online sleuths and a surge of insider chatter, what started as something separate began overlapping with Epstein's world. And some didn't just believe they moved through those spaces. They believed they mastered them. For years, social media has pointed to Paris Hilton as someone pulled through that same pipeline. A young star, exposed to pressure, substances, and decisions she may not have fully controlled. But the theory doesn't stop there. It claims Kim wasn't a victim of that system. She was studying it, learning the mechanics, watching how fame was built and how it survived. And in the version of events the internet keeps pushing, Kim and her team didn't just follow that blueprint, they refined it. Strategic releases, tightly controlled narratives, NDAs locking everything down. And when things got too close to the edge, critics say the response was ruthless, damage control. Then, it all circles back to Ray J. His live rant starts spreading again, and suddenly people notice the timing, the overlap, the coincidences stacking up. The story goes, Kim's camp moved fast. Legal letters, public statements, pressure building to shut it all down. But Ray J didn't stay quiet. Reports say he fired back with a countersuit, calling the entire situation what he believed it was, a calculated PR move. And that clash, it changed the conversation. Because now people aren't just watching, they're asking, what contract? What NDA? And more importantly, who was really protecting who?
How much are you willing to show us of your body? How much are you willing to give us of your daughter's body? That is the price of fame, and she did it. This is where we're at. This is why we tell you not to follow the Hollywood type. This is why you should not allow your children to idolize Hollywood. These are not the people that we should be following.
Now, the story takes a darker turn. If Paris Hilton is truly finished protecting anyone, and insiders insist she's been holding on to receipts for years, then everything changes. Because Paris isn't just another tabloid voice. She was inside those rooms. She knew the players. And according to the rumor mill, what she's holding isn't just embarrassing, it's explosive. The kind of material that doesn't just shake reputations, it tears apart carefully rebuilt identities. Meanwhile, Kim Kardashian stays in motion. The perfect pivot. Devoted mother, business powerhouse, public-facing law student, all while quietly reinforcing her defenses, distancing from old connections, locking things down, moving like someone who plans 3 headlines ahead. But people are watching closely. A silence here, a legal strike there, and the absence of official noise only fuels the speculation. When authorities go quiet, the internet fills in the blanks. And suddenly, every move from Paris lands like a countdown, a clip, a flight log, a message teased just enough to spark chaos, each drop hitting harder than the last. And with every release, people swear Kim pulls back just a little more. Smaller appearances, less visibility, a shift in tone. Online, the belief is spreading fast that somewhere there's a file, and her name is on it. And if Paris ever reveals even one undeniable piece, the consensus across platforms is ruthless. No lawsuit, no rebrand, no crisis team, nothing could contain it. Because this has outgrown gossip. This is something colder, more calculated. a slow-burning war between two people who once stood in the same rooms. And now, the entire internet is watching, waiting to see who breaks first.
We have a congressional act now to requiring the release, but they're going to say, you know
Subject
what?
to
Tom
redaction.
Hanks, it's unfair that he was mentioned
The
because he
law
was eating
says
Skittles.
subject to redaction.
Subject
to redaction.
And we all know what that means. That's to protect.
That's why I'm saying you will never be satisfied with.
So picture this. Paris Hilton is standing in the center of a full-blown inferno, and the flames are coming from the latest Jeffrey Epstein leaks. According to whispers and leaked emails now circulating, there's alleged unseen footage from Epstein's island that supposedly includes Paris. 14 minutes. That's all it took for everything to spiral. Suddenly, she's no longer just the polished face in paparazzi frames. The rumor machine is trying to recast her as something much darker. Paris is pushing back, loudly, denying everything in real time. But when the noise reaches this level, credibility becomes collateral. And the whispers? They're not new. For years, her name has hovered in rumor cycles tied to Epstein's orbit. Now, alleged client lists and anonymous tips are resurfacing, like receipts that refuse to stay buried. What makes it even messier, the Hilton name has always existed in those same rarefied circles. Private jets, closed-door parties, the exact spaces where Epstein crossed paths with the elite. Documentaries and anonymous insiders have hinted at deeper connections within that world. And online, even a hint of smoke becomes a wildfire. Then comes the narrative that keeps resurfacing. A young woman spotted during Fashion Week, pulled into a vortex of fame, influence, and unspoken transactions. Truth? Distortion? Selective memory? It doesn't matter anymore, because now it's being recycled in viral clips and late-night threads until allegations start sounding like accepted history. So now you have Paris, denying, defending, trying to regain control. And on the other side, leaked files, unnamed sources, relentless online investigators. The outcome? A reputation hanging in the balance, a digital courtroom forming in real time, a story that feeds itself with every new drop. Stay or scroll, it doesn't change the fact that this has become social media theater. And the audience? They don't forgive. Now here's where it gets even more complicated. Reports claim Paris may have been pulled deeper into Epstein's orbit after that first encounter, but she refuses to confirm any of it. In a recent interview with the London Times, she said she doesn't even remember meeting Ghislaine Maxwell. And that's where the internet locks in, because it never forgets. Old photos have already resurfaced. Paris standing side by side with Maxwell, smiling like familiar faces in the same social circles. So now the question hits harder. How do you forget something like that? Some analysts offer a different angle. They believe Paris might be telling the truth, just not in the way people expect. Because early 2000s Paris, she was everywhere. The undisputed face of nightlife, endless club openings, VIP rooms, after parties stacked back to back, cameras flashing non-stop. Her life was a blur, champagne, chaos, and constant exposure. So now, as she tries to distance herself, the timeline doesn't hold steady. The photos don't help. And the public? They're not convinced. Because when the past resurfaces with visuals, denial only amplifies the noise. Back then, Paris was moving at full speed, living inside a cycle of non-stop parties, surrounded by power, and people whose reputations now raise serious questions. So yes, there may be nights she doesn't remember, but there are plenty others that the internet refuses to forget. And Maxwell? That's just one piece. Paris has also been photographed alongside Rachel Chandler, a name that sends conspiracy spaces into overdrive. Online discussions repeatedly connect Chandler to Epstein's inner circle, especially through MC2 Model Management, an agency tied to Jean-Luc Brunel, who faced serious allegations linked to Epstein's network. So now it's not just one connection, it's multiple. And to online investigators, that doesn't look random. It looks like a pattern, but it doesn't stop there. There's one moment that keeps resurfacing, fueling even darker conversations. Donald Trump once mentioned Paris when she was as young as 12, and the way he spoke about her hasn't aged well. It was recorded, public, the kind of clip that resurfaces years later and makes timelines uncomfortable. People hear it now and ask, why was a powerful adult speaking about a child like that? And what's left behind is an image the public can't shake. A very young Paris, surrounded by powerful figures whose reputations have since fractured, and a trail of photos, interviews, and moments that raise far more questions than answers she's willing to give.
I've known Paris Hilton from the time she's 12. She's hot. Her parents are friends of mine, and the first time I saw her, she walked into the room and said, "Who the hell is that?"
Did you want to bang her?
She's at 12 I wasn't interested. I've never been into that.
Right.
They've sort of always stuck around that 25 category.
But even at 12, you were kind of
No, but
wow,
I
she's hot.
saw at 12 she was beautiful. But honestly, Paris gets knocked and this and that, but she's very beautiful. Her
she
skin
dumb?
is flawless. She's dumb like
And just when it feels like the internet has hit its limit, it finds something worse. Another clip of Donald Trump starts circulating again. In it, he casually references Paris Hilton's leaked tape, speaking on it like it's late-night gossip, instead of one of the most invasive moments of a young woman's life. And people can't shake the tone. Too casual, too comfortable, too familiar, especially knowing he'd been aware of her since she was a child. Every time the clip resurfaces, it triggers the same reaction, the same question. Why did he feel so at ease saying that out loud? Because moments like this don't just fade, they linger. They add another layer to an already complicated history between Paris and the powerful men who surrounded her rise. And the public? They keep going back, rewatching, reanalyzing, trying to understand what might have been happening behind the polished image all those years ago.
Seen the video?
I have seen it.
You did. What'd you do? You went on the internet?
It was just.
How did you see that? What did you do?
Melania showed it to me.
She did?
She showed it to me.
What did you think of that?
I think it's probably unfortunate, and perhaps it may.
And that right there, that's the clearest snapshot of how Paris Hilton was treated. Not as a rising star, but as an object, a symbol, a trophy in a world obsessed with power and image. But the Donald Trump connection? It isn't just random noise, because his name has long been linked to Jeffrey Epstein. Back then, reports placed them in the same rooms, the same events, the same elite social circles. So if Trump had his attention on Paris, he didn't have to look far. He knew the networks, the access points, the people who could open doors. It's a web of influence, of connections, of quiet, unspoken favors. And Paris? Whether she wanted it or not, she was right in the middle of it. Now fast forward, the peak of the 2000s party era. Paris wasn't just attending events, she was the center of it all, the nucleus of a chaotic social universe. And the people orbiting her? Bright, unstable, always on the edge of collapse. That's where the speculation deepens. Because some online theorists don't see her as just a guest. They see her as a gatekeeper. The connections, the guest lists, the after parties after the after parties. Access most young celebrities could only imagine. And then, look at the circle around her. Britney Spears, Lindsay Lohan, the most chaotic trio of that era. People remember the photos, the late nights, the headlines that dominated everything. But now, years later, online investigators are revisiting those moments, connecting dots no one paid attention to back then, building darker interpretations of what was really happening and who was influencing who. Truth? Exaggeration? It's blurred now, because every new scandal pulls the past back into focus. It doesn't stay buried, it resurfaces, again and again. 22 minutes. That's how long it took for one insider claim to spread everywhere. An anonymous voice, the kind that claims to have known everything all along, dropped a version of events the internet couldn't ignore, and people ran with it. According to that account, Paris wasn't just part of the group, she was leading it, thriving in the chaos around her. And Britney Spears? They say she was the most vulnerable, pulled into a world she was never meant to survive. That infamous paparazzi moment, the flashbulbs, the stumble getting out of a car beside Paris and Lindsay, people still argue about it. Was it an accident or something shaped by the culture surrounding them? No one agrees. But one thing is clear, Britney struggled, and the entire world watched it happen, which is why the internet keeps circling back, linking Paris to darker power structures in Hollywood. Because if she ever fully admitted she was exploited, it wouldn't just stop with her. It would force people to ask, who else was caught in it? And what role did Paris really play? Victim? Participant? Or something in between? And now, Paris herself has started pulling back the curtain. In recent years, through documentaries and interviews, she's spoken about trauma, about exploitation, about a life that spiraled under the weight of fame long before she understood the cost.